This is Texas High School Football Now, sponsored by Germania Insurance.
I'm Sydney Wicker here in Waco. The playoffs kicked off for our teams in Central Texas. The bi-district round in full effect, so you know what that means. It's a win or go home from here on out. We'll kick things off with some highlights from Leo Buckley Stadium. The Harker Heights Knights, four-time district champions, taking on Cedar Hill. The Knights looking for their first bi-district win since 2022, and they would get on the board first, all thanks to this 52-yard field goal from junior Oakley Goins. Are you kidding me? Get this man a scholarship. 3-0 Knights early on. Cedar Hill going to try to get something going, but on third down, that Knights defense comes up with a huge stop, all thanks to the tackle by Cooper Howard there. Knights back on offense, and it's quarterback Hudson Humble who looks out wide. He's got Ryan Taylor there who's going to pick up a huge first down, just running right up the sidelines. The Knights in the red zone now. Humble going to hand things off to Jalen Munchie Mason, who somersaults his way into the end zone. The handshake king going to bust out all the celebrations. It's 10-0 Knights here early. Knights defense gets another huge stop, so Humble coming out once again. He's looking long. He's got Joffrey Anderson wide open. The Knights take a 17-0 lead after the first quarter. The Knights would stay in full control. They're moving on with a big 28-14 win. Waxahachie traveling down to Waco for a showdown with Midway at Panther Stadium, the first round of the playoffs. Midway on offense here trying to set the tone, and it's quarterback Andrew McNair who finds his guy Tyler Seath on the slant, and he takes off running for a huge Panther gain, breaking one tackle before going out of bounds. Now Midway would come up short on that drive, so Waxahachie going to take over on offense, and it's a jet sweep to their big wide receiver Cohen Brown, and yeah, this guy is going to catch. No one's going to catch him, going all the way there. He takes the big touchdown early on. All right, we're going to see Brown take the handoff here, looking for McNair, and he's going to pick up another big first down, all thanks to tight end Hayden Brock there up the middle. We'd see some going to kick the extra point too, and it is all good there. The Panthers, though, they're not able to do too much. The final score 48-16. Let's head over to Waco ISD Stadium now for a rematch of the bi-district. Marshall and University going head-to-head. We'll pick things up here in the second half. The Buffaloes on offense here in the third quarter. A heavy dose of QB runs thanks to this guy, Caden Johnson, who takes a big gain here. They would do it once again, just running all over the Trojans early on. They would take the lead 27-21, coming back from trailing 21-0. The story here, though, University without quarterback Savoy Nichols, who got hurt before halftime on a roughing the passer penalty, so they're looking for a spark now. They bring in this guy, and he's looking long. It's Xavier Riviera who finds the Baylor commit, London Smith, for a huge first down. The Trojans gonna look to do it again, and who better to give it to than London Smith. He scores the touchdown here, ties this one up. They would go ahead and take the lead before long with the extra point. University's defense, though, going to come up with a huge stop in the final seconds to rally behind Riviera. They advance. The final score 35-27. Congratulations to the Trojans and Coach Charles Foster. Robinson taking on Madisonville over in Corsicana. Robinson quarterback Bryce McCurdy going to pass things to Braden Terry, who makes a move, and he even loses a shoe while doing it because, I mean, come on, who needs the shoe anyways? That gain will set up a really big play for McCurdy, who's going to look for some options and decide, hey, I can take things myself, guys, don't you worry. First touchdown on the night goes to the Rockets at Tiger Field 7-0, but it doesn't take long for Madisonville to get things rolling. It's quarterback Jarek Kovar who throws a dart to running back Jaden Simpson. It's all green grass ahead. He almost gets tackled, but he's going to make his way into the end zone for the Mustangs. Touchdown, they tie things up 7-7. All McCurdy going to hand things off to running back Evan Moreno, who gets the Rockets in the red zone. Moreno with the big run there. He's going to set up his teammate, wide receiver Dylan Medlock, who's going to take this one himself and dive his way into the end zone, sliding into our reporter Madison there. Girl, move on over. It's 14-7 Rockets now. Madisonville going to come up short. The Rockets get another chance, but the Mustangs come up with a big stop, making the Rockets settle for a field goal. It's Sergio Guerrero who gets the kick, and it's 17-7 Rockets now. But each team will get a chance to stab one another in this one as it would go back and forth. Robinson would lead 24-13. The Rockets will go on to hang 60 in this one. The final score 60-41 Rockets. The 4A D2 state runner-up La Vega Pirates taking on LaGrange at Crusader Stadium. La Vega already up 35-0 at the half. Their offense just keeps moving the chains as Courtney Parr hands this one off, and they'll go ahead and pick up the big first down right there. The Pirates wouldn't be able to get anything off of that drive, but their defense still hungry for more. Check this one out. Gonna absolutely rob LaGrange here, dodging every tackle that comes his way. And yeah, he's still on his feet. He's gonna take that. That's a pick six for the Pirates. 42-0 would be the score after that play, and that would also be the final score in this one as La Vega shuts out LaGrange and sails their way to the area round. All right, the playoffs also continue at Tiger Stadium in Rockdale. Sealy versus Gatesville. The Tigers, coming into this one with a 10-1 record. The Hornets will start with the ball first, though. It's quarterback Eli Phillips who's going to look long. He's got a man downfield, and who else better for it to be than his brother, Amos Phillips, there for a big first down, and then some. A penalty gives them some extra yards, and they don't find the end zone on this drive, though, so we'll see Sealy come on out looking to punch in a score. It's quarterback Kane Killo who tries to connect with the receiver, but this one gets picked off. CB Clark Allman with the pass breakup, and linebacker Larry Schwartz there with the pick. If you can't tell, they're a little pumped up about it. The Hornets with great field position now on the goal line, looking to find the end zone. Phillips keeps the ball, relies on the tush push to get him across the plane. Is he in? Well, the refs are going to say he is, so that's good enough, right? Now to the extra point, the kick goes up, but it's blocked by Sealy. Braden burned it, says see you later to Gatesville special teams as he runs down the sideline for the return. Unfortunately for Gatesville, Sealy gonna seal this one with a commanding 37-6 victory. Axtell taking on Cayuga on Thursday night in the 2A D1 by districts over at Groesbeck High School. This one gonna start off a little slow for both teams. It was only 3-0 at the half, Axtell leading, but the Longhorns gonna change that here in the third quarter. It's quarterback Levi Leathers who looks out and finds AJ Fetch with the big run, brings the Longhorns into the red zone, and that will go ahead and set up this play for Leathers, who takes it in himself and dives into the end zone for the first touchdown of the night for Axtell. 10-0 Longhorns here in the third, finally getting that spark on offense they'd been waiting for all game. It's Cayuga's turn now, but this one goes over their quarterback's head. They'll go ahead and recover it until they lose it again, and the Longhorns say it's their ball. Leathers gonna take over. He hands it off to Damian Fernandez, and yeah, this guy's gone. It's another touchdown for the Longhorns, 17-0, still in the third quarter. Axtell comes up with another big stop. With the ball, Leather pitches it off to Fernandez, who comes up with a huge run to put Axtell in another scoring position. Leather says, yeah, I'm going to finish this job, guys. Don't you worry. He punches it in. That's 2 touchdowns right there for quarterback Levi Leathers. The final score, 31-14. By the way, coach said if Levi didn't play quarterback, he'd be playing linebacker because that's how physical this guy is. Axtell moving on to the next round. Let's head over to Wildcat Stadium now in Temple as Moody was taking on Thorndale. The Bearcats trying to get on the board first. It's quarterback Lee Womack who steps back and launches it. He's got Hayden Stinson right there, and Moody will strike first. The Bulldogs gonna drive again. This score tied up 7-7. It's Case McDaniels who dishes the ball out to Cole Palmer, who will take off running up the sidelines. He'll make a cut inside, dodges an army of Bearcats on his way, and takes this one all the way in. It's 14-7 now. Thorndale leading. A 3-and-out for Moody. Gives the ball back to Thorndale. So we'd see McDaniel roll out. He's going to find Will Cloud in the end zone. The Bulldogs strike again. They now lead 21-7. The Bearcats would try to cut down that lead. Lee Womack looking downfield, but this one going to get picked off. It would stay all Thorndale from here on out. The final score, 42-7. Those are your highlights and scores from Waco.
Hello, everyone. Joe Trahan, and it is week 1 of the high school football playoffs. And in North Texas, We had a great one. I was at the Gopher Warrior Bowl, and it's South Grand Prairie taking on Lake Highlands. It's actually the 6th straight year that they faced off in the bi-district round of the playoffs, so they're not in the same district, but boy, do they have a good rivalry, and they put on a great football game tonight. Let's show you the highlights from this one. It was actually a defensive battle early on in this one, but that would change on the first play of the second quarter. Dalen Brooks going big fly for Ryan Goss. Great hookup. It covers 53 yards, and SGP was up 7-3. Lake Highlands would answer with special teams, though. Watch as they blocked the punt, but they couldn't corral it. So close to being a touchdown, but it goes out of the back of the end zone for a safety, and the Wildcats were up 8-7 at recess. All right, let's pick it up in the second half. In fact, it's the first drive of the second half. Lake Highlands quarterback Chuck Smith finds a wide open Franklin Evans. Cats open a 15-7 lead at that point. But the Warriors answer. Dalen Brooks this time looking for Cade Wallace. He finds him for the 15-yard touchdown. SGP gets a 2-point conversion, and it's tied at 15. This game would go back and forth and back and forth. Watch this big play as Smith hits Christian Rhodes, weaves through the defense. He hits the Jets, and he's going to go 90 yards for the touchdown, and the Wildcats would go on to win a wild one, 43-36, the final. Elsewhere in 6A, it's Jesuit hosting Arlington Lamar. And the Rangers offense really came to play in this one. Shane Parker takes it in for the 9-yard touchdown here. Less than a minute into the game, Jesuit led 7-0. Lamar keeps pace in the first quarter, though. It's Jaden Shaw to Kamarian Richmond, and he powers into the end zone for the 23-yard touchdown. We're tied at 14 after 1. But Jesuit turned on the afterburners in the second quarter, scoring 34 points, including this Beck Berry to Cade Kirby 67-yard touchdown pass. And Jesuit is moving on. Man, that offense really got going. They win 65-41. All right, let's take you to Argyle. They were winners in 3-5A Division II. They hosted Lovejoy on this night. First quarter, it's McGuire Gasperson rolling to his right. He finds Jake Murphy in the end zone. 10-yard touchdown for a 7-zip lead. Argyle's offense stays hot on their next possession. Nathaniel Bruce takes the handoff, makes a man miss. He hits the Jets along the sideline. One last stiff arm is all he needs. It's a 99-yard touchdown. And that makes it 14-zip after 1. They pour it on in the second quarter. Gasperson to Julian Caldwell for the 44-yard score. Gasperson has 4 total touchdowns in the first half alone, and Argyle wins big, 56-zip. Richardson Berkner is back in the postseason. They were taking on Arlington Bowie. Volunteers would strike first. It's Jaden Bibbs to Maxwell Nichols. It's a 10-yard score, 7-zip. Bowie on top. Berkner answers back, though, ensuing drive. Chance Brown, he finds a little seam, busts through it, scores, and we're all tied at 7 after 1. Second quarter, more from the Rams. Daquan Dunn lofts it up, and it's a great catch as he sheds the defender. That's Ty Creathers, making it 13-7. Then right before the half, Dunn and Creathers hook it up again, this time for a 14-yard score. Berkner heads into the half of that one up 20-7, and they would hang on to win. They keep their season alive. They win 30-28. So we are off and running in the postseason in Texas high school football. You can't beat these Friday night lights. It is gold ball season with the area round coming up next week. That's a wrap, though, from North Texas. Thanks so much for watching, and here's hoping you have a fantastic football weekend.
What's happening, my fellow Texans? Nate Ryan in San Antonio for Texas high school football. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know how much longer you're going to see me. That's contingent on how well our San Antonio area teams do in the Texas State playoffs. The longer they advance, the more you'll see me. So I don't really know. You want them to win or lose? I'm not sure. The script writes itself. I mean, I know guys twice my age that still talk to me about when they played in the state playoffs. Did I ask? No. But do I respect it? Of course. Because that's what's earned in the state playoffs. Respect. The farther you advance, the more stripes you earn. You got teams in other districts now getting familiar. San Antonio, you got Brennan in Far West SA, meaning Reagan from Stone Oak. Both clubs historically strong. The Bears always seem to awake from hibernation come playoff time. There's Mekhi Thompson. More cuts than a Jimmy John's. Makes it 14-0 Bears. Looks like it could be a Brennan onslaught early. But Reagan, under first-year head coach Preston Meyer, showing a little fight. Special teams, special play. This is Ricky Armstrong gets the sliver of daylight, and Ricky, don't lose that number. Return to sender. Deficit all of a sudden cut in half. It's 14-7. But this Bears team has speed. Quarterback Caden Glass, it looks like he's playing video games, right? He's looking, and then just decides to tuck and run. It's like he's a human joystick of sorts. Fun fact is that bears in the wildlife can climb faster than they can run. But on the football field, we can see they can run pretty fast. Off the end around, Jay Sean Mitchell, one man to beat. He's gone. All Bears in the second half. Rattlers kept it close for a hot second, but couldn't keep the pace. Defense from Brennan swarming 49-21. Bears advance. Brandeis, Sotomayor, another matchup. Intra-city squads. Sotomayor, relatively newer to the playoff party. Brandeis has been there before. Broncos early on. Back shoulder, not fade away. Winter Smith hits Ty Jeter. It's a great catch. Concentration there from 1-1 for the early strike. 7-0 Broncos. But after a Sotomayor field goal, they got to stop and they take the lead right back. Cameron Grady. Catch him running at UTSA in a couple years. There's 3 on the screen, 6 on the scoreboard. Touchdown Grady. Soto Cats take the lead, but quarterback for Brandeis sees that and he's raising. Winter is coming. Winter Smith, young junior. He's been starting for over a year now. Not phased, watches dab, and now you can't even see him. Hits you with the Cena off screen. Adding on to it, Smith. This kid is tough. Gritty as a quarterback. Young man, eating his Wheaties. Down on the plate, but he would get up. He was all right. He's a tough kid. 28-10, Brandeis led this game in the second half. Looked like they were going to pull away. But the Soto Cats reviving themselves on the backs of Grady. He scores, makes it 28-18. Sotomayor took a 32-28 lead. Then Brandeis came back to take the lead. And on 4th and short, Sotomayor trying to extend the season. Did he get enough yardage? We're waiting. Maybe take this one up to the robot umpires. Wait, wrong sport. Zebras conferring. It was 4th in inches, and the Soto Cats got centimeters. Not enough on the measurement. Short of the line to gain, and Brandeis wins it 35-32. If you don't believe me, there's the ruling. Broncos moving on. Sam Houston, the SAISD champs. Hurricanes coach Jeremy Williams told me that his team's season goal was winning a first-round playoff game. It's been a long time. And in their way was Pflugerville. Coming down from Austin, you know they're tough. But the Hurricanes strike first. Xavier Youngblood in the flat to Jermaine Carson. 7-0 Canes. That was a full-length drive for Sam Houston. Pflugerville, the Panthers just did it in one play to even it up. Timothy Edwards, 70 yards to the painted grass. We're all square, 7-up. I'm more of a Sprite man. Next possession, though, for Sam Houston. Youngblood off the read option. They run a lot of the read option out there. It is Youngblood, sophomore quarterback, into the flat to Mevion Franklin-Ross, 14-7. Sam Houston had these long, methodical drives, and Pflugerville would just come back with just a quick punch. Very much a Mayweather type, just right hook, cross. How about that for a celebration? I like that. Colt Taylor to Quaylen Penson for the 65-yard touchdown. This game was tied 21 apiece late in the first half. Credit to the Hurricanes, but Pflugerville just had too much firepower. There's Taylor again, Penson again. He got the steps in on his Fitbit. These guys must have had that celebration rehearsed or something like that. I'm glad they're showing it to me because I'm saving that for the club next weekend. The second high school football ends, I'm putting on the dancing shoes and showing off the Pflugerville dance move. Don't ask me where I got them. Just for kicks, there's a Sam Houston touchdown, couple sophomores connecting. Pflugerville's going to get the win, but credit to Sam Houston for hanging around. O'Connor, Johnson, another cross-city showdown. Jaguars are the city powers. Elvis Estrada going up top. There's on the receiving end, Braylon Allen, true freshman. Hauls that one in. That dude's like 6'4". He's a freshman. What's he going to look like when he's a senior? Early edge for Johnson, and then Rayshawn Hurt This one hurts so good if you're a Jags fan. Just circuitous route all the way to the end zone. 6 on the jersey, 6 on the scoreboard. Touchdown, Lyndon Baines Johnson, or Claudia Taylor Johnson High School. Sorry, I've got my Johnsons confused. I should know. I live here. Back the other way goes OC. Over the top, Elvis Estrada, hauled in by Bryson Thompson. We're going to give a shout out, though, to OC for putting one on the board. This is Riley Eason with a long touchdown run. OC went to the playoffs for the first time in a fortnight, it feels like. Credit to the Panthers for fighting for David Molesky, but all those winners on your screen advancing to the next round of the playoffs. Alamo Heights from San Antonio got a win on Thursday. The Harlan Hawks got a win. They're going to play Dripping Springs in the next round, which means we will have another program. You'll see me next week. That's your scores and recaps from the San Antonio area. More scores and recaps from around the best state in the Union. Texas high school football now. I'm Nate Ryan.
Insurance you can trust. Help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at germaniainsurance.com. Insurance you can trust. Help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at germaniainsurance.com.
What's up, beautiful people? It's your boy Corey Mose in Austin with a look at Central Texas's top games from round 1 of the playoffs. Let's get started with our game of the week, a clash between two powerhouses, all right? Westlake and Vandegrift. And talk about drama. We talking about reality TV. This is better than that. This game definitely had all the drama. Vandegrift is known for a shutdown defense, but early on, Westlake said, just like the government, this shutdown is over. The Chaps got on the board first after a 1-yard touchdown, and after a second short rushing TD, Westlake led 14-3. But here come the reigning champs. Sam Brown got loose for a 70-yard score, narrowing the lead to just 4 points at the break. And you knew this one. You just knew they would come down to the wire. One team played for a state title last year. The other team won it. So it's fitting that this was decided on a walk-off, and we're not talking baseball, right? That field goal was good. You can tell by the way they're storming the field and celebrating. This was not a normal first-round win. Vandegrift moves on. They take it 16-14. Now, I went out to Georgetown before coming into the studio, and the Eagles were flying high against Burleson Centennial. You know what else flies high? A jet. And Jet Walker took off tonight. Well, this was the first of his 2 touchdowns in the opening half. Next possession, though, Centennial dropped back to pass, and they regretted that like eating those steak bites from Arby's. Reagan Bollinger going up like the receiver on that play for the interception, and that would set up another Georgetown touchdown. Caleb McDougall takes the snap, and he's rolling to the end zone. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that's 6 more on the board as this game was over by halftime. Eagles take this and move on to the second round, winning 42-11. Now, the Billies from Fredericksburg pulled up to Austin and got bullied on the goal line. They tried to go up the middle. Yeah, that didn't work. Bounce it outside. Decline like those spam calls. Fumble! Caden Lewis scoops it up and was moving down the sideline. He takes it all the way to the 45 before, look at that, testing out the jersey strength. Like vegetables on a kid's plate, Marcus Murray II goes untouched. He put 6 points on the board to put the Jags on top, and they would stay there, adding another gold ball to their trophy case, winning 37-15. Now swing it out to Bastrop. The Bears took on the Bulldogs from Burbank, And there was no hibernating Friday night. Bastrop woke up hungry for a gold ball. Weston Nielsen connects with Diego Rangel, who makes a dude touch his ankles before touching out of bounds after a big gain. Later in the drive, Western slinging it out west to Caden Laney. That moves a change and sets up 6 points thanks to this play. Weston, you already know where he's going, right? To Diego. Again, one of the best duos since PB&J. Bears take care of business at home, winning 62-0. Getting back to the action, let's go. Cedar Park Timberwolves were howling, and the fastest one in the pack showed his speed and power against Tyler. Here's the speed. On 4th and 1, Trey Hill takes this mug 61 yards to the house, giving CP the lead. But the Lions roared back. Kadarius McMiller bounced it outside, then took it inside the end zone to make it a 8-7 ball game. But remember, I told you about that power earlier. You're about to see it here. They're strong, and then they're strong. If you know, you know. That's Trey's 29th rushing touchdown of the season as Cedar Park earns a by-district trophy. Cedar Park wins 50-43. Man, that's a lot of scoring right there. All right, that's all from around Austin. Like I said, I'm Corey Mose, man. I appreciate y'all for watching.
We made it. Well, not all the way just yet, but it is finally playoff time. And if you want to get to state from here on out in the second season, it's win or go home. Let's do it. Bridgeland and Klein Collins here. Tyler Beagle starting things off with a bang to Jackson Ewing. A 46-yard TD makes it 7-0 Bears. Ewing with a couple good jukes to get into the end zone, but Collins gets in on the action. Randall Jackson breaking free, a 39-yard touchdown to tie the score at 7. And Klein Collins is going to be the one running away with this one, 37-27. So the Tigers finishing 10-1 after this game, while Bridgeland, their season ends at 7-4. The Tigers get the Woodlands or Benjamin Davis, who play on Saturday. Next, Fulshire at Seco Ranch. The Cougars, Braden Gonzalez, just all over these highlights. Here he makes it 7-0 Seco Ranch. And then Gonzalez part deux, punching it in, 14-0 Cougars. And it was, in fact, Seco Ranch going big, winning this one 47-21. So they improve to 8-3, while Fulshire, they end their season at 7-4. Next, it's going to be Seco Ranch who gets Cy Falls after advancing in this round. And next we go to 10-0 Dickinson facing Atascocita. The Gators, Jace Washington here, a hard run. Look at him take that hit and keep going. He finds the end zone, 7-0 Dickinson. And if you thought that was good, it's Washington again on the end around, ending up in the, wait for it, end zone, hitting them with the bow celly. That's strong, but the Eagles know how to fly high. Carde Mack, a name we all know, and that's a ball we all recognize, finding Darius Williams to tie the score at 14. This game, hold on, wait for it, tied at 37 at the half. High scoring to say the least. It was a thriller. Dickinson, though, advancing by a slim margin, 51-47. So Dickinson staying unbeaten at 11-0. Atascocita, their season ending in a disappointing 6-5. Next, the Gators will get Pearland. Now to the Berry Center, Klein and Cy Ranch. First, it's Mustangs QB Braden Baker finding Manny J. Leja, who gets this one to the 1. No red zone issues here. Cy Ranch punching it in. And then in the second quarter, Klein's Edward Kelly Jr. finds his way into the end zone. That was pretty easy. And just before the half, it's going to be Baker again with the play fake. Whoop! The inside move, keeping it himself, taking it all the way to the house. It was 13-8 Cy Ranch at the half. And it's Cy Ranch getting the best of Klein in this one. The Mustangs winning 40-24. They will face Grand Oaks next, who advanced over Nimitz. The 7-3 Waller Bulldogs making their first playoff appearance in about a decade. Their opponent, Tomball, showing their strength. QB Jackson Falden hitting his receiver. A great pass, 7-0 Cougars. Moments later, Abel Quiroz is going to add to that lead. Staying on his feet, just making guys miss. He's going to put them up 14-0. Waller QB TK Gaines calling his own number. I love it. On 4th and goal, scoring the touchdown to cut it to 7, but the Cougars are balanced. And Ian Thomas with the nice touchdown run. Tomball was up big, and they were leading with 2 minutes left, 56-42, and that, in fact, would end up being the final. So Tomball improving to 9-2, while Waller, their season ends at 7-4. Next, the Cougars will face Willis. And we've got Lamar and Cy-Fair battling it out at Del Mar Stadium. Texans QB Jaden Robbins launching it. The 55-yard touchdown, I should say, to Jakarston Landor, who walks it into the end zone. Texans with the ball again. The handoff to Larry Sanders, who shows the dance moves, getting past 3 guys to score a 56-yard rushing touchdown. Then, just before the end of the first quarter, Cy-Fair finally gets on the board. The lob to the back of the end zone. Chase Sanders grabs it over the defender to make it a 1-score game. But Lamar just way too strong in this one, advancing, winning 35-24. So the Texans improve to 8-3, while Cy-Fair falls to 7-4. That's where their season will end. The Texans next will face Strake Jesuit. And one last score to check. Wisdom, who had a great season making the playoffs for the first time since 1979, falling to Memorial 50-6. The Mustangs advance to face the Katy Tigers. And that will do it as playoff fever hits. Those are your Week 12 highlights from Houston.
Hello, football fans, and welcome to the East Texas edition of Texas High School Football Now. Dan Millay and Jimmy Searfoss here to guide you all through the first round of playoff football in East Texas.
Just one fist bump today, because everything's reset. Everything's 0-0 right now as we enter round 1 of the playoffs. Dan, we had one of East Texas's finest on display tonight. One
of the finest indeed. At R.E. St. John Memorial Stadium, Kilgore already up 7-0 after an opening kickoff return for a touchdown. Next drive, Bulldogs pick up in the same spot. Cason Brooks gives it to Javion Lloyd. Sophomore takes off. Look out, dude. I'm trying to shoot some highlights over here. Lloyd takes that baby about 75 yards to the house to put Kilgore up 14-0 early. Next possession, Brooks shows off the arm, first finding Isaiah Waters for the first down and more as the senior battles through the Bears defense. Later on, same spot, Brooks zips it towards the sideline again to keep the chains moving and get the Bulldogs in the red zone. Then at the goal line, the pitch goes to Rayshawn Williams, who just waltzes his way into the end zone untouched. Make it 21-0 Kilgore. Then, after a blocked punt and a safety for the Bulldogs, Brooks gives it to Williams once again, who powers through the middle before making his way toward the sideline, finding Patriot once again. Kilgore led it 30-0 at the end of the first quarter. They go on to win big, 61-14.
Let's go to Henderson. Athens taking on Gilmer. Gilmer had the lead by the time we got there. Gilmer trying to right a season that's gone a little bit to the left. Hey, but Julius Brewer wouldn't keep the score at 0 for long. Takes the handoff, works his way through the pile, through one more tackle. He's got a clear path to the corner of the end zone. He's going to go right over the pylon, showing off the ball in the process. Get the Athens Hornets on the board. Gilmer went with a bigger man instead. How about the man in the Wildcat, Ishmar, the French freak Kamara? Look at that guy on third and short, making his way through the touchdown, or through the first down. Zay Taylor turning into position here, disappears, reappears in the end zone after a big-time block, skipping his way to points. Athens returns the kick for a tutty. Gilmer marches down, finds trailer Solomon Jackson for the touchdown. We're still in the first half. All this scoring, Athens ain't done. David Richardson drops back, hits Emmanuel Moore on the short pass, and watch how easy this kid makes it look. This guy doesn't have an offer, by the way, from anyone big time, and he turns around that defender into the end zone. Athens takes this one 57-49 in a huge shootout. This was from our game of the week, Atlanta and Winsboro meeting for the 4th straight year in the postseason. Raiders lead the series 3-0, looking to make it 4-0 tonight. Rabbits get the ball first. Handoff goes to Jaden Riley, sweeps right, cuts left, makes a man miss, then another man near midfield. He's got nothing but real estate in front of him. Nobody's going to catch him. Rabbits score right out the gate, go up on top. Raiders ball here near midfield. The handoff goes to Mac Barrett. He's got blockers in front of him, moves towards the sideline. Inside the 10 where he gets chopped down. It's all right. Dust yourself off. Rub some dirt on it. You're fine, kid. That'll set up a design run by quarterback Noli Carroll. Drives in for a Raider touchdown on 4th and goal. That'll play. Second quarter, Raiders inside their own 5-yard line. Handoff to Barrett. Works towards the sidelines. Still on his feet. Gets pushed out of bounds across midfield. Several plays later, it's Carroll again with the snap and run up the middle. This time untouched for his 3rd touchdown of the half. He'd have 4 on the night as Winsboro wins it 28-20. Hey, Mount Vernon student section saying, hey, Bear, tell your girlfriends you'll be free next Friday. They hosted the Gladewater Bears in Mount Vernon. Gladewater, Achilles Hess, the quarterback, putting this one over the middle of the field to Jacoby Crosby. He makes his way into the end zone and is super amped up about it. You can tell by his little dancey dance. Mount Vernon with the ball. Quarterback Cage George sees Braden Baker, but it's picked off. Landon King gets in front of it. They wouldn't do anything with it, though, before getting tripped up, and that's about as exciting as that was. Mount Vernon had another chance. Cage George sees Wesley Salinas headed to the end zone. He gets behind his man all by himself, completely clean. That's a good 4 touchdown. Gladewater Bears now. Achilles Hess has the fake handoff, and it's none other than himself marching his way into the end zone. Gladewater Bears jumping up 56 to Mount Vernon's 22. They advance to the area round. The Bears are legitness. All right. We got Huffman Hargrave and Lindale Eagles have Hargrave. Pressure in the first quarter. We're going to see it right here. It shows with the combined sack on the quarterback from Caleb Walker and Asher Metters all over that. David Lindig here sneaks it to Emilian Johnson, who makes his way straight into the end zone with a little celebration and a little dancey dance. A lot of dancey dancing here in East Texas tonight. 4th down situation for Lindale. Lindig hands it off to Hank Thurman. Hands it off to Hank Thurman. Here we go. Rushes to the 10, and that set the Eagles up for this next play inside the red zone. Lindig's got some pressure. He's going to decide to keep it himself and runs down the sideline for the touchdown. Takes a big hit, but watch the kid just pop up right after. Goes down, back up. Ain't no thing. 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. Lindale rolls to a 63-21 win.
Watch out for them East Texas, man.
Watch out for them East Texas teams, folks. That's all the time we have for this first round matchup, this first round excitement from East Texas. We'll see y'all next week.
For insurance you can trust, help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at germaniainsurance.com. For insurance you can trust, help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at germaniainsurance.com.
Hey there, everybody. Chris Thomason in the Coastal Bend studio. Just like everybody else, we had a jam-packed by-district round. Let's get to some of the best in our area. We had the Flower Bluff Hornets, Lucian Cruz and company, hosting McAllen, Mac High out of the Valley. The Bulldogs looking to be the upset special here. Early on, near the end of the first, the Hornets driving. Cruz going to hit Ransom Watson. He's going to get in for the score. Made it 7-0 Bluff. Now this, the play of the game. Here in the second quarter, McAllen trying to even it up. Talon Garcia trying to come up with his ball, except he doesn't. Instead, it's picked off by Flower Bluff's Colton Stray. Look at this block from Anthony Mims. That was a straight pancake, and Stray going to take it all the way back. 102, 103, something like that. Gone. 14-0 Hornets on the pick six. Now, Mims also had a blocked punt later in the half. He was all over the place. And Flower Bluff here capping it off. Samuel Smith going to take it in, made it 21-0. All Hornets 45-7. They will get a home game against San Antonio Piper next week. How about a district champion, Gregory Portland in 5A Division II, welcoming in Kerrville Tivy. Now Tivy with the ball here to start. Colin Rose going to take off, and Rose going to be smacked hard by Tate Mitchell. The ball pops out. Ethan Cortez coming up with it. The Wildcats defense showing out early. Then the handoff to Cody Adame punches it in for the score. Now, Tivy would score to make it 7-7, but look at this mid-air catch on the onside kick by Jeremiah Vaughns. Gone to the house, made it 14-6. The Antlers probably regretting that decision. And later in the second, Carter Dominguez going to take it in. GP wins final in this one, 75-15. Wildcats moving on to round two. How about just across the bridge at Buccaneer Stadium, Miller welcoming in Old District foe Victoria West. Pick it up late in the first, already 7-0 Victoria West. Miller, we saw the pick six earlier. Well, Khalil Davis is going to get it. Watch this tiptoe down the sidelines. He too gone. The big defensive play ties it up 7-0, but later Victoria West now leading this game, and Miller here on the fumble recovery. Well, spoiler alert, it will be a fumble recovery. ESPN Cole, that's his name. Dun-a-nut, big hit to force the fumble. Dexter Brantley recovers, but ironic that the two highlights we had from Miller were defense, because that was about all the defense. Victoria West would win this game here. Andrew Henley going to get the score. They roll 61-23. Warriors moving on to round two. How about some 4A action, an all Coastal Bend matchup? Rockport Fulton paying a visit to Kingsville King. This was a rematch of last year. Rockport winning that matchup here. The Pirates, Trey Alvarado going to take it in, made it 7-0 Rockport Fulton. Now Kingsville trying to get something going here in the first. Going for it on fourth down. Watch Isaac Kaysen goes up top for Julio Pineda Garcia, catches it in double coverage, just kind of dropped it in right between them. So moving the sticks, but later Brahmas having to go for it again on fourth down. This time though, Kaylor Wilshire going to bring down Kaysen for the sack. That's a turnover on downs, and Rockport Fulton taking advantage as Alvarado going to take this ball in again. Rockport Fulton goes up 15-0. They go on to win 50-16. They will take on Salado in the next round. Well, that will do it for me. That wraps up the by-district round in the Coastal Bend. Have a great one, everybody.
The P&G Indians, they're featured as our band of the week this week. Hey, they got a good band. They got an even better football team, number 3 team in the state. I'm Holton Pepper in Beaumont. Friday Night Lights, they are back. We are here in the playoffs now. This is the by-district round. So let's take a look at some of our matchups here from Southeast Texas. Talking about those P&G Indians, they came in as 43-point favorites against the Nacogdoches team that limped into the playoffs after losing their last 3 games to end the season. First quarter, Connor Bailey drops it in the basket to Seth Brisboe, 40 yards on the touchdown pass. P&G goes up 7-0. After a block punt by the Indians, they'd have to settle for Elijah West, 32-yard field goal as they extend the lead to 10 later in the first. That's Tyson Henry there. It's now 17-0 after 1 quarter of play. And of course, giving it to him again, that's Henry again. Henry's such an elusive back there, but unfortunate news coming out of Port Neches. Quarterback Connor Bailey was hurt. Had to be carted off with a left leg injury. He did come out on crutches in the second half. with a knee immobilizer. But Port Neches Groves does get the job done here in this one, 48-7. They're moving on to the area round. The Orangefield Bobcats, man, they've been one of the more electrifying teams in Southeast Texas there as the 2 seed coming out of that district. They're taking on the Diboll Lumberjacks in Jasper, Texas. And what better way to kick things off than with a kickoff? But it's, of course, like, why else would you be showing a kickoff? That's because of a kickoff return. This wound up being our play of the week this week. And, of course, that is Kaysen Click. He caught it at the 10 and had blockers, got the edge, got the seam, and he gone all the way to the end zone, scoring there a 90-yard kickoff return. Great job there. And one of the better backs in the state of Texas headed to Lamar University after the season concludes. Mason Manning almost makes it to the end zone. So if he gets you all the way down there, well, let's just go ahead and hand it off to him again. Up the middle, touchdown there for Orangefield. Big time win for the Orangefield Bobcats. This one was close. It was a one-possession game for the majority of this one. Orangefield gets the job done. They are moving on after a defeat over the Diboll Lumberjacks, 29-20 Orangefield. Now, one of the more just deadly teams in this entire state, Port Arthur Memorial. They played on Thursday night against Galena Park. The Yellow Jackets came to town. This was the first play from scrimmage. That is Tank King. He's headed to Texas A&M, #1 linebacker in the state of Texas, in there to get the party started. And of course, just a few plays later, he gets stacked up. Of course, the 10-0 record for Port Arthur, and they're showing why they had that. This was like maybe the second or third play of offense for Port Arthur. There's just nobody around. That's Kevon Roberts. He's headed to Houston. The throw from Amonte Martin, and they're up 7-0 early. And then secondary as well for Port Arthur is sweltering. That's Brock King. He's headed to TCU, snags it out of the air. Titans go back out on offense. Passing game is great, but so is the run. Alex Eugene is as good as they come. He gets a hole, and he is gone. He's going to get the sideline and tread all the way to the end zone. Port Arthur extends what was a very early lead. It was now 14-0. Look, they've scored in a lot of different ways, but when you have a quarterback that can do this, I need you to see this. Starts to take off, pumps downfield, jukes 6 out of his shoes, and then jukes him as well. Hey, you want some of this? Here, have some of that. Takes off, gets a blocker, gets that Houston 7-foot-tall blocker, if you will, at this point. Gets into the end zone, and man, what a run there by Amonte Martin, the quarterback. And here to top things off, we're going to throw to Kevon Roberts, because why not? He's so good. Yeah, just stare down your defender. I mean, like, it's no use. You can quit running. I'm in the end zone. 42-0. Port Arthur advances to the area round. What a win for the Titans. They're going to advance to area. Those were your highlights from Southeast Texas. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, we'll see you next week.
Welcome to West Texas. I'm Ethan Becker, and we've got 8 games from the Permian Basin to San Angelo and Abilene. Let's look at the highlights. Permian is at home taking on the El Paso East Lake Falcons. The Panthers didn't come here to waste no time getting on the board. On the very first play of the drive, Caden Vickers finds Kaysen Navarrete, who breaks a tackle and shows off his speed into the end zone. Panthers tie it up at 7, and they're only getting started. After a stop by the defense, Gavin Black cuts it back and makes his way over the goal line. Panthers up by 7 now, and no mercy is being shown here tonight. Mojo runs the same play that scored on the first drive, but this time to Aaron Navarrete with the house call. Permian makes this a 23-7 lead as the Panthers cruise to the finish line with a score of 59-7. Legacy in a rematch of last year's bi-district game against El Paso Franklin, and the Rebels make an early statement. Nick Moore, 79-yard house call on the opening kick. How about that start for Legacy later? First offensive possession for the Rebels following Cougar touchdown. JP Reyes airs it out to Jabraylon Andrews, and he's going to walk it. And it's a 62-yard response for Legacy to jump back in front, and that pair was on fire. First play of the second quarter, it's another Reyes bomb to Andrews, 49-yard strike as Legacy wins 62-42. Abilene Cooper hosting El Paso Chapin. Jaden Carrillo scrambles but can't get the ball down the field on the opening drive as the Cougars stall out. But the Huskies, Davion Singleton drives through defensive lineman for the 1-yard punch in. With the ball back, big run by Singleton down to the 16, setting up a field goal attempt that's going to be blocked by the Cougars, keeping this game tied or keeping this game close. Later in the first quarter, Johnny Reyes is able to kick that field goal for the Huskies, but the Cougars are not giving up. A long pass into the end zone to Jace Johnson puts the Cougars on the board as Abilene Cooper comes back to win 42-35. Fort Stockton eyeing its first playoff win in 3 years versus Lubbock Estacado. Panthers come out swinging. Jerry Diaz is able to find Cedric Lopez in the back of the end zone. Fort Stockton take the early lead. Next drive, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Diaz to Lopez again. Panthers doubled their lead to 14, but this is where the Matadors flipped the momentum. On the ensuing kickoff, no Panther is going to lay a finger on Cedric Ross. It's a house call for the immediate answer as 25 unanswered points for Estacado, and the Matadors power to a 31-17 victory. Andrews faces Burnett in San Angelo. Burnett goes to work. Josiah Coronado caps off the drive. His run gives Burnett the lead, but here comes Andrews. Jay-Sean DeBoose bounces off his O-line and turns on the Jets. Big time touchdown from the senior to knot it up, but the Bulldogs bounce back. Coronado finds himself in the end zone for the second time as Burnett takes down Andrews 21-7. It's a Permian Basin battle between Alpine and Coahoma, and the Bulldogs set the tone on play number 1. Aiden Rodriguez streaks his way to the sideline and into the end zone. Coahoma takes control. Bucks look for an answer, but Day Hardwick, he is going to bounce around and get smacked. And that ball is free and recovered by the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs are going to capitalize. Austin Jocelyn finds Jaden Hernandez, who makes Bucks defenders look silly right there as Coahoma steamrolls Alpine 75-20. Ira Ann versus Seagraves and Snyder for a rematch from 2024. Ira Ann ball first, and Aiden Mendoza sets the tone. He's through the hole and into open space. Mendoza, he will go down, but not before putting the Braves in prime real estate later in the drive. This time, it's Alex Reyes, and he's got blockers in front. That is a 10-yard touchdown that gives the Braves an 8-0 advantage, but Seagraves answers right back. The Eagles punch it in, and Seagraves moves on to end Ira Ann's season 35-24. Ozona looks to keep its undefeated season alive in the postseason against Anson. Lions down 6 early until Christian Villarreal has the ball in his hands. He bounces outside and kisses him goodbye. 41-yard touchdown ties the game, but the Tigers aren't scared of this Ozona team. Grayson Fagan connects with Branson Rister for the TD. Anson back on top 14-6 and continue to tack on points. Wildcat formation for Malachi St. John as the big man muscles his way in, and Anson upsets Ozona 35-14. That wraps the first round of the playoffs from West Texas. I'm Ethan Becker, and that's the highlights from the Permian Basin.
Texas High School Football Now is sponsored by Germania Insurance.